Well, I have a three-point plan to get out of Iraq, starting with redeploying our troops, but doing it responsibly and carefully, because as many of the veterans in this audience know, taking troops out can be just as dangerous as bringing them in. And we've got to get out of Iraq smarter than we got in. Secondly, we've got to put more pressure on the Iraqi government, including withholding aid from them if they don't begin to stabilize the country themselves. And thirdly, we need an intensive diplomatic effort regionally and internationally. But if it is a possibility that al-Qaeda would stay in Iraq, I think we need to stay focused on trying to keep them on the run, as we currently are doing in Al-Anbar province.
This debate, falling 455 days before the 2008 general election, just 455 days. I want to ask everyone, and we'll go right down the line for 30 seconds each. As president, will it disturb you that the race to replace you will begin possibly only days into your first term? Senator Clinton, what about the case of perpetual campaigning?
You know, I think I'll be so busy, I'm just not going to worry about that. We're going to try to do national health care as soon as we get in there. We're going to have to bring people together to do that. We're going to move for energy independence and create those millions of new jobs. We're going to finally have an education policy that actually will work for students and teachers and families and communities. There's going to be so much work for America to do that if some people want to go out and start running for president 4 years ahead of time, I don't care. I want people to stay focused on what we have to accomplish together. There's going to be a lot of repair work to do, and I'm going to ask people to come to Washington, bring your brooms, bring your vacuum cleaners. We got to clean the place out and get to work together.
Senator Clinton, thank you. Senator Clinton, this past Saturday, you defended taking money from lobbyists, and the quote was this: "A lot of those lobbyists, whether you like it or not, represent real Americans. They actually do." Why, though, do these lobbyists make more money, by and large, than average Americans?
Well, you know, Keith, I believe we've got to have fundamental reform in Washington. I'm in favor of, especially after Bush and Cheney and Rove, to clean up what they're leaving behind, to end the no-bid contracts, the revolving door in government. I think it's absolutely essential that, you know, we get rid of all of the contracting out of government jobs, which has really undermined the quality of services. But, you know, I think it is also the case that I have fought for all of these issues against a lot of special interests for a very long time. I fought the drug companies and the insurance companies in '93 and '94. I fought them again on the Medicare prescription drug benefit. I fought the banks on bankruptcy reform. So I think that my record on standing up and fighting for people really speaks for itself.
Senator Clinton, China an ally or an adversary?
I want to say amen to Joe Biden, because he's 100% right. You know, 6.5 years ago, we had a balanced budget and a surplus. Now we are in deep debt with a rising deficit. And it is absolutely true that George Bush has put it on the credit card, expecting our children and grandchildren to pay for it. We've got to get back to fiscal responsibility in order to undercut the Chinese power over us because of the debt we hold. We also have to deal with their currency manipulation. We have to have tougher standards on what they import into this country. I do not want to eat bad food from China or have my children having toys that are going to get them sick. So let's be tougher on China going forward.
Senator Clinton, over the weekend, this past weekend, you expressed some disappointment that NAFTA, in your words, did not realize the benefits that it promised. How would you fix it?
Well, I have said that for many years, that you know, NAFTA and the way it's been implemented has hurt a lot of American workers. In fact, I did a study in New York looking at the impact of NAFTA on business people, workers, and farmers who couldn't get their products into Canada despite NAFTA. So clearly, we have to have a broad reform in how we approach trade. NAFTA is a piece of it, but it's not the only piece of it. I believe in smart trade. I've said that for years. Pro-American trade, trade that has labor and environmental standards. It's not a race to the bottom, but tries to lift up not only American workers, but also workers around the world. It's important that we enforce the agreements we have. That's why I've called for a trade prosecutor to make sure that we do enforce them. The Bush administration has been totally missing in action. They haven't been enforcing the trade agreements at all. It's important that we have good information to make judgments. And when I looked at some of the trade agreements that the Bush administration sent our way. I voted against CAFTA. I don't want to give fast-track authority to this president. So we've got to have a better approach to what we're going to do when it comes to trade around the world, and it's important that we have an idea of how to maximize the benefits from the global economy while minimizing the impact on American workers. That includes things like real trade adjustment assistance and other support. But finally, Keith, we've got to have a source of new jobs. That's why we've got to invest in energy. We can create millions of new jobs if we go toward renewable energy. Those are not jobs that will be outsourced. Those are jobs that will actually save us money and create jobs right here in America.
All right, thank you, Senator. Senator Clinton, we have an internet question that relates to the same topic. It was sent in by someone who identifies themselves merely as union lifer. How can you reassure people who have rightfully earned a pension that they will be able to take advantage of that benefit without descending into poverty?
Well, I want to thank all the questioners. You've been, those of you watching on TV, seen a real snapshot of all of the problems in America. The pension system is broken. We've got to stop companies going into bankruptcy in order to get rid of their pension responsibilities. We have to have defined benefit pension plans again. We've got to make sure that nobody ever tries to privatize Social Security, something that I fought tooth and nail with many of you to prevent. And I want to quickly say, to the woman who lost her husband at the Sago mine, Chris Dodd and I were on the committee that passed some very good laws. The problem is we have an administration that doesn't want to enforce those laws. When I am president, we'll have a Department of Labor that actually cares about labor. And when it comes to organizing at Resurrection Hospital, I will be the president who signs the Employee Free Choice Act. We will rebuild our manufacturing sector because you cannot have a strong government and economy and society without manufacturing. And I am proud to be the New York AFL-CIO's favorite sister because of all the work that I've done with our unions in New York, and I will take that same commitment to the White House.
Senator, thank you. We did have, I believe, Senator Clinton, a veiled reference to someone on this panel in Senator Edwards' answer, and I think I'd be remiss if I did not give you an additional 30 seconds to reply to that.
Well, I am, I'm just taking it all in. You know, I've noticed in the last few days that a lot of the other campaigns have been using my name a lot. But I'm here because I think we need to change America. And it's not to get in fights with Democrats. I want the Democrats to win. And I want a united Democratic Party that will stand against the Republicans. And I will say that for 15 years, I have stood up against the right-wing machine, and I've come out stronger. So if you want a winner who knows how to take them on, I'm your girl.